Do you know what I find absolutely fascinating about the world we are living in right now? A week after I worked on the script for this video, Justin Trudeau announced his resignation as Prime Minister of Canada. And the word announced is important because no powerful world leader, not a one, is resigning the same day that he announced his resignation. Okay? This resignation happened before it was announced on January 6th, right? But the powers that be decided that the rest of us would find out when they were good and ready to inform us. So what I'm going to say to everyone is strap in. Strap in like you are in the passenger seat of an F1 driver's car, okay? Because it's going to be a bumpy ride in 2025. Let's get into today's video. Happy New Year! That's it. That's all everyone is getting from me until January 1st, 2026, okay? I'm not going to lie. I have been mentally preparing myself for 2025 since December 1st, 2024, okay? Call it adulthood or the horrifying realization that time is just a concept. But I have basically resigned myself to the fact that January 1st doesn't really come with a magic reset button. January 1st is just another day. I know. It's giving cynical Cyrus, but where is the lie though? Exactly. It cannot be found, just like my hope in humanity. JK, just kidding. I believe in humans and our ability to fix the world and our many problems, okay? But on a serious note, 2024 was an eventful year to say the least. The civil war in Sudan continued last year. 2024 was the hottest year on record. Someone used a pew-pew at the Trump rally. Joe Biden ended his re-election campaign, and Kamala Harris launched her presidential campaign a day after Biden said he's not doing again. Cost of food in Nigeria increased by 39% in November 2024, but that did not stop Nigerians from paying to see Ghana in December. But I can't blame them because Ghana is actually fire. Need I say more about 2024? I don't think so. In case you missed it or you shared the same living space with Patrick Starr in 2024, the global job market last year was nothing to write home about. If I had $1 for every Reddit post I saw from a frustrated user who was sick and tired of sending out resumes, okay, sitting through long interviews and assessments only to get ghosted by the recruiter or company, I would be Rihanna rich right now. And let's not forget about the general status of the global economy in 2024. Plot twist, it was an absolute joke, except a lot of us didn't laugh much last year, did we? Well, let me read out this banger that was published on the IMF blog in April of 2024. Open quote. Despite gloomy predictions, the global economy remains remarkably resilient, with steady growth and inflation slowing almost as quickly as it rose, close quote. I'm not gonna lie. I don't know how I feel about the IMF describing the global economy as resilient. Let's save that word for the strong friends who consistently refuse to let life beat them down to a pulp. So I'm going to offer my own suggestion to the IMF if they would accept it. Open quote. Despite gloomy predictions, the global economy remains remarkably lucky to still be standing, considering how bumpy the ride has been since the pandemic forced us to partake in TikTok trends that we now all regret. Close quotes. There, I fixed it. Let's leave the past in the past and let's look ahead instead. What does 2025 hold for the world? While I can't make any predictions, there are a few events and trends that are worth adding to my 2025 bingo card. South Africa assumed the G20 presidency on the 1st of December 2024, and the country will hold that position until November 2025. No pressure, South Africa, but what a time to be in the presidency position. The world is moving like a scene right out of the Hunger Games, and thanks to the internet, we are always informed about every single crisis and tragedy. Once in a while, we will obsess over a TikTok trend like very demure, very mindful. The distraction lasts for as long as it can, and then we're back to facing the confusing state of the 21st century world. Yikes. By the way, when the UN set their deadline to achieve 17 Sustainable Development Goals by 2030, I bet they did not see a lot of world events coming, including the coronavirus, the global lockdown, the Russia-Ukraine war, and Donald Trump going viral for his little dancey dance to YMCA. According to the UN Secretary General, Mr. Antonio Guterres, only 12% of the SDG targets are currently on track, with approximately 50% needing more substantial progress and more than 30% of the SDGs having either stalled or reversed. Oh, we're also dealing with climate change, poverty, hunger, rising unemployment rates, the worrying use of artificial intelligence, and political instability. All the best to South Africa and the UN as they work hard to move the needle forward. The next event on my radar is the 2025 UN Climate Change Conference, which will convene in November in Brazil. Now, my spidey senses are telling me that November is going to be a pivotal month in 2025, okay? This year's edition of the UNFCCC will serve as the formal meeting of the Conference of the Parties, COP30, the 20th meeting of the COP serving as the meeting of the parties to the Kyoto Protocol, and the 7th meeting of the COP serving as the meeting of the parties to the Paris Agreement. Sounds like UNFCCC COP30 will be a very busy conference. Now, COP has some main themes that will be discussed at the conference: reducing greenhouse emissions, adaptation to climate change, climate financing for developing countries, and climate justice and the social impacts of climate change. A quick history lesson on the Kyoto Protocol. The Kyoto Protocol is an international treaty that was adopted in December 1997 in Kyoto, Japan. The treaty called for the reducing of 6 greenhouse gases in 41 countries plus the EU to 5.2%. Now, although the protocol was adopted in 1997, it didn't come into force until 2005. Now, there's a lot of drama around the Kyoto Protocol, the Paris Agreement. I'm just going to let you do your research so you can understand what the heck is going on in those meetings, okay? That's it for me. Thank you for listening, and fingers crossed that 2025 will be a less chaotic year, comparatively speaking. But with the world population hitting 8 billion, I don't know how feasible it will be for us to have a chaos-free year. All the best to us, though.